Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Hearthcenter, your Tuesday night show bringing you the latest highlights of the week in THL. I am one of your hosts, Lotus Knight, and I am joined by quite the crew here. To my left, we have always here Super Chicken. Chicken, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
And to my right, we have Geranium Battle. Geranium, how are you?
Doing great. We just had the announcement that it's going to be a 2-weeker, so nice and relaxed.
For sure. And right below Geranium, we have nice Jewish Owl. Owl, how are you?
Doing okay. Finished up school, so now I have a lot of time to play some Hearthstone.
Nice. So we have quite a great time. I'm sure y'all are wondering what Owl's going to tell us as our special guest for tonight. So join us as we get to look at everything that happened in THL this week, starting with Player of the Week. Everyone ready to talk Player of the Week?
Heck yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with our hero player of the week as usual. And Chicken, can you tell us who is our hero player of the week?
Our hero player of the week is Tab. While many players have had a tough time adapting to hero, none have had such a drastic shift in results as Tab. From top of trios and nigh undefeated in Conquest to starting off winless in hero, Tab reversed the momentum with a 4-game victory over Risen. This brought a lot of momentum back for Let Them Cook, who was languishing at the bottom of purple. With this, they jumped a third, being only 5 points out of a playoff spot. This cycle of reincarnation brought a sunny, devilish smile to my face. Actually, super uplifting from Geranium Battle. And congrats to Tab again for that.
Congrats, Tab. For the hero player of the week, Geranium, do you want to tell us our legacy player of the week?
Of course, our legacy player of the week is none other than Pokemon 661. This just in. A super E-sub over Captain Justin in the final hours was always going to be risky, but Pokemon 661 was not sluggish as he took the Game 5 win over Stinzy. This gave the ever-growing throng of Justins a large win over APM, separating them from the close race in gold. I'm glad to welcome Pokemon back to THL with a just win, and we'll watch for his climb to 661 PR in the future.
For sure. And last but definitely not least, Owl, can we hear our pro player of the week?
Sure thing. Our pro player of the week is Vino Spumoni. I said week 2 was about the bounce back, but week 3, the bounce back is key. And Captain Vino Spumoni led his team, Axe playing Metalheads, to their first win on the season in a sweep over opposing captain Edelweiss. This huge win for APM sets up a comeback second half of the season. Time to ride this momentum into playoffs.
Nice. I want to congratulate Tab, Pokemon 661, and Venus Pumoni on getting Player of the Week. And how do you eventually get Player of the Week if you're interested, Geranium?
Oh, it's very simple. First, win your matches. Second, have your team win their matches. Third, don't play in trios. Once you fulfill these 3 mystical rules, you have a much larger chance of getting Player of the Week, especially if you had a pretty impressive result as a result of that.
Nice. So, with that said, is everyone ready to move on to Hero Series, where we begin our first series of the night?
Indeed.
Okay, so our first match of the night is going to be the Golden Wisps facing F2L Black. And we're going to have Geranium tell us about this match.
Of course, Golden Wisps took a close win over F2L Black here. I believe to start off the week, it was Copa, I think, winning Game 5 over Jespin. Then I believe, order was really mixed up. MPV, I think, then took the Game 5 over Bone Masher. Then I believe it was OnFall winning Game 5 over Totino's Pizza, Lemur winning Game 4 over Ree Bobson, and finally Seth for Christ bringing it closer with a Game 5 win over CMAC.
Nice. So my question here is anything that calls your attention, Owl, when looking at this match?
I see someone brought Shaman, and they also won. And they won 3-2, so the Shaman got played and got at least one game win, which is that's interesting.
I don't know if the Shaman necessarily got a game win, right?
Oh wait, no, yeah, Hero. Maybe it didn't. But there was a Shaman brought. Also,
OnFall's been pretty consistent bringing Shaman. It looks like Shaman lost Game 1 though versus Rogue.
Very unlucky.
Unlucky. There's also every player brought Death Knight and Demon Hunter, as is expected, and almost everyone brought Rogue and Priest.
Interesting.
Makes you think.
Also, it's kind of weird that someone didn't ban Death Knight or Demon Hunter and then lost. That's
Yeah, that is interesting. You definitely want to. I mean, I think there's merit to banning Priest in some cases, maybe. Maybe after the nerfs, because notably, Priest is not getting hit that hard with nerfs.
True. And just imagine that overheal deck, just how oppressive it's going to be.
Unstoppable, I'm sure.
It really makes my heart throb.
So, let's move to our other match. Chicken, did you cook against Dead Legend this week?
Just as Bryan Cranston once said, someone cooked here. And yeah, our team did a bit of cooking. Unfortunately for Dad Legend, many a hunter was served up on the grill this week. Yeah, why did people bring Hunter? I don't really know. That class is terrible. Ron's influence has reached too far, I think. Because it went 0-1 against. I know for sure it went 0-1 against me. And yeah, I'd been having a pretty poor start to the season. I had started in the 1 seed, and now I'm in the 2 seed. And Neji keeps winning, so now I'm still in the 2 seed. So that's nice. Maybe I pick up some more wins against people who are like 200 PR below me. Maybe that's the only way I'll get wins in Hero this season. But yeah, no, it was a pretty good bounce back week for us. I think it was a mix of us just kind of maybe getting into a rhythm, figuring out what worked and what didn't, and then also maybe putting in maybe that little bit of extra effort in terms of preparation and practice and stuff. Yeah, as you can see, our prep was pretty similar. I opted for Druid instead of Rogue, but we all kind of felt that Demon Hunter was the best ban in this meta. But I still like flip back and forth on like whether like Demon Hunter or Death Knight is a better ban. But we ended up going with Demon Hunter this week, and it paid off pretty well for us.
Nice. Yeah, the meta's over, so I can spoil. I'm still undecided. I think it's very much matchup by matchup, but yeah, Demon Hunter and Death Knight are both way above anything else and almost always the right ban. But with that said, Honest Uranium, anything you want to add here?
Yeah, I will point out we saw a couple druids. Druids, it looks like as long as they're backed up by Death Knight Demon Hunter here, do seem to be winning their matches. Mickey 66 also banning something that isn't Death Knight or Demon Hunter, paying the price, unfortunately. But Yeah, I think meta wise, we'll see what the changes bring. It's quite possible that some of the Death Knight, most of the Death Knight decks, and then some of the Demon Hunter decks are still just as playable. So they might still be top decks going into the next meta. Outcast Demon Hunter, with just a hit to predation, might not be that bad for them. So we'll see.
That's fair. Oh, anything you want to say before we look at the standings?
I think it is a sort of a shame that the meta has been there's two decks that are way better than everything else. Because at least I feel like it often makes Hero somewhat uninteresting because you kind of have to ban one of them, and then the other two decks are like hoping you can find something that beats the other one. So I am excited to see what the nerfs and buffs bring.
Yeah, I'll note this effect is especially pronounced in Hero because in Legacy, you can actually have you just have to get one deck that you can hold back and you're fine. But in Hero, if a Demon Hunter or a Death Knight gets out of control, you're kind of lost. That is something we're going to see, and it did happen as expected this week with, I'm sure, a lot of matchups, and we're going to see if it's over post nerfs. But with that said, Owl, what are the standings for Teal and Purple looking like?
Yeah, for Teal, we've got in first place with 62 points, Ballers and Slatters Enjoy Dabbing, followed by Golden Wisps at 53, followed closely by APM. And then there's a pretty big jump down to Dad Legend at 30 and Somewhat Hastily Improvised Team at 26. Then in purple, we've got Department of League Administration in first with 56, followed somewhat closely by F2L Black at 48, Let Them Cook at 45, APM at 37, and Any Primers at 32. Interestingly, all of the teams in purple, other than the first place team, are all 1 and 2.
I will also note that in Teal Conference, there was a little bit of a shakeup because some players have played. Some people really wanted to play on this last meta. So Golden Wisp is actually third, or started off the week at third with 49 points to Arcanist Perform Miracles 51. But otherwise, placements are all, the top of Teal Conference is super close. Top of Purple Conference is pretty close.
Yeah. With this said, anyone has any further thoughts on Hero before we go to next week?
Yeah, I hope the hero meta is a little bit better going forward.
Yeah. I want to add one thing. It's just a Hearthcenter secret, but in our next full-on Hearthcenter show, which is happening 2 weeks from now, we are going to have PPR. So my question, and I'm going to choose one of you for each series, so we do this differently, is name who you bet is at the top of PPR next week. And I'm going to start with Hero for Geranium. Geranium, who's at the top of PPR for Hero?
I mean, it really depends on how I do this week, but I think it's actually going to be me. I keep facing undefeated players every single week. So the weight system is probably going to favor me. So I faced Arhat and then Lemur and then Wild Rose, and now I'm facing Chewy, who's still undefeated. So I don't know. Fourth week with so few results coming in. Could be Ron because he started in the one and I didn't. It could be me. I don't know.
Y'all heard it first. Chewy for player PPR at the top at the end of this week. But let's take a look at gold while we're here. Everyone ready?
Indeed.
Indeed.
Our first gold match is going to be Oops All Justin facing Anoyo Political Manifesto. And when asked Owl about this one.
Yeah, oops all Justin finding yet more Justins with Pokemon 661 coming in as a sub Justin. And I don't know what order these matches happened, but Pokemon 661 took a 3-2 over Stinzy, Infinite took a 3-1 over Bone Masher, Hudak took a 3-2 over I Am Moon. Infinite and Hudak both undefeated on the season, really showing the power of Justin in THL. Dissa Gur 3-3 meant losing 2-3 to Ramiot, and then Skirt Reynolds getting his first win over Leo C 3-2. We see all 10 players brought the classic Death Knight Demon Hunter combo, and most brought Priest and Rogue as well. A few Druids from APM, but it doesn't seem to have worked out too well for them. A few Paladins on the Justin side, which seems to have paid off for most of them.
Yeah, it seems like the Paladins did a good job. 'Cause this was quite the win. What do you think, Chicken?
Yeah, I think what I'm seeing here is if you're a Justin, you're allowed to bring one bad class, but you're not allowed to bring two, which is what happened with Disagreement. You can bring Paladin, that's fine. Or you can bring Hunter, that's also fine. But you cannot bring Paladin and Hunter. That's not going to go well for you.
For sure. Anything else anyone wants to say about this match before we go to the standings?
I think it's cool that Skirt Reynolds versus Leo C was on stream. So if you wanted to, you could go back and check that out. It was a very close match. As you can see, went to game 5. Leo C also brought a Topior Druid, which was really cool.
Nice. So, what are the standings for gold looking like at the end of this Geranium?
Of course. Right now, Gold Conference has Oops All Justin at the top. They are currently on a bye week, but they are at 53 points. Behind them is canceled Hearthstone Season at 40 points. They leapfrogged over Rockstars of average size, who was in second place, but now 38 points in third. The Cooler is at 34 points, so not that far out of second place. And then Standard THL Degenerates, who's only had 2 weeks to their name, is catching up really fast at 29 points. On points per week, they would be in second had they had their third week.
Nice. So everyone ready to move to red?
Yeah, let's take a look.
All right, let's take a look at the red conference where Owl is going to tell us about E.T. Cthulhu facing the Standard THL Degenerates.
Yeah, this it was a close week. We just happened to lose a lot of the close matches. I did pick up a win in the 1 seed over Memnarch 3-1, and then the rest of my team struggled a little bit with Lowbrow lost 2-3 to Dr. Bombd, Jessbean 2-3 to Electric Sheep City. Dragon Rider sadly got swept in the 4 seed by Risen, and then Righteous Jammies lost 2-3 to Saku. We see the trend continue of if you bring more than one bad deck, you don't win the match, I believe. Actually, no, because in the 5 seed, both players brought 2 bad classes. So it's
That
hard to get a
cancels out,
conclusive
surely.
result. Surely, yeah. And I still don't know how to play Demon Hunter, so I bring other decks, but it works out.
How do you manage to not play Demon Hunter, if you don't mind me asking, through this meta?
I've played the deck. I know it's a good deck, and I just cannot win with it. So I bring the next best thing. I mean, different meta, so I can leak the secret. I think Burn Mage is like one of the best fourth decks right now. If you can play it, it's at least felt a lot better than a lot of the other fourth deck options have to me. So I think like you can slot Burn Mage in. It does decently well into Demon Hunter and pretty well into Rogue. So if you can play the deck, you'll get wins with it.
Fair. I just feel like Demon Hunter has like 8 different decks, all of which are around tier 1. But that's fine.
Yeah.
Chicken, what do you think?
Yeah, as Milo said, it's pretty tough. Like having 3 of your matches go to 5 games and then none of them going your way, which is like pretty much the difference between winning and losing the week here, and like a 10-point swing. So that's pretty sad for them. But overall, I don't think they should be too bummed about that, because a lot of the games were really close. And yeah, I think Mage is pretty solid. I think it'll get a lot better after the nerfs, especially with the remaining, I guess, decks in the meta. I think it's probably pretty good into those. So yeah, Milo might be in a great spot after Demon Hunter gets gutted.
I do love playing Control Priest.
That's gonna be awful.
Oh God. So what do the standings for Red look like at the end of this, Milo?
We've got APM in first place, 47 points. Season 24, 5 versus 5, Legacy Clown Contestar at 42. Another APM at 39, Dad Legend 34, and then ET Cthulhu at 32. So it's pretty tight race, and my team, ET Cthulhu, has had our bye week already. So on points per week, we're in third. We just haven't gotten the points yet. But yeah, it seems like really, if Dad Legend has a big turnaround, or if sort of any of the teams have a good next few weeks, there's no one really out of playoff contention yet.
Yeah, everyone is together. It's kind of crazy to see like this. Like the farthest away team is really not that far from everyone else. No one's
and
breaking out. It is a crazy red conference. Like, I don't know.
Dad Legend is 0-3, but has still averaged almost 12 points each week. Like that's a lot of points to be getting when you're losing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, everyone is just not letting it go. There's so many points in the game, so many teams doing well. It's kind of a conference where everyone is solid. No one has just broken off, but everyone is solid. Anyone wants to share anything else about Red Conference before we move on to Silver? All right. So, Geranium, tell us about Silver as we look at Big W Esports versus Defias. What happened there?
Of course. In that match, Big W Esports did lose to Defias. They were I think the top 2 teams in the Silver Conference at the start of the week. Defias ended up losing the 1 seed, Wild Rose taking game 5 over Wild 9. I think that is the 3rd time in the 3 matches they've ever played where Wild Rose has come out on top. Classy Thug won game 5 over Nice King. That was on stream. L-Bomb 25 took game 4 over Neb Canuck. The Real Lure stays undefeated with a game 4 win over Ring 13. And finally, in the 5 seed, Truth AM took a sweep over ZZZ Gert.
Nice. Those were some tough names to read. Owl, anything you want to add about this match?
We have a break in the trend. The Real Allure brought 2 bad classes and still won.
It's true.
So
Wow.
yeah,
It can be
and
done.
Truth AM. Yeah, the bottom 2 seeds of Defias breaking the trends.
True.
And we see a shaman.
Just wait post nerfs when Shaman becomes that oppressive class with Overload Shaman everywhere.
Overload shaman. My
Surely.
opponent turns his totem into a Ragnaros and plays criminal lineups on it.
Now, you may not think that Shaman got any buffs, but you may have seen a certain apple bomb on the buff list.
Oh yeah, that was the thing that fixed Shaman. Yeah, no, that's true.
I think the Pandaren importer buff is really gonna save shaman.
Well, yeah, you play the sus panda in the sus classes, and shaman is indeed a sus class.
Also, is that card even in standard right now?
No.
What, the
I don't
Pandaren
believe
Sus
so.
Imposter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in standard.
Is
What?
it?
Did it
I
get
think
moved
so.
to core?
I thought, what? Is it not in standard? I thought it was in the final cycle.
I
Like,
thought it was Stormwind.
I thought it was introduced in like
It's
I remember
Stormwind.
Milo was playing that card in Stormwind.
Why
I'll tell
is
you
it-
that much.
Yeah, I was
Why
running
is
it
it
in
being
Libram
buffed?
Paladin.
Why does anyone care about Sus Imposter? Okay, whatever.
It's
Yeah.
sus.
I do agree, Lemur. I'm thankful they buffed Appleball. That's going to bring in that control meta we've all been waiting for.
It's gonna bring back proper Hearthstone.
But what are the silver standings looking like after this chicken?
So at the top of Silver Conference, with pretty commanding 19 points per week and 57 total, we have Defias. Then dropping down at 47, we have the Stubbs with potential 27 points this week, a world first. Then in third place at 46 points, we have Big W Esports. Then in fourth place, we have F2L White at 39. And rounding out the bottom, we have Symphony of Clowns at 32 points, but only 2 weeks played so far. So actually, they're second in points per week.
Yeah, very competitive conference again. Legacy just has everyone facing each other at quite a high level. But anything anyone wants to say before we move on to our commercial break?
I'll just quickly add that only the top 2 teams from each conference will move on. So it's pretty interesting that for 2 of the conferences, the bottom team just hasn't played one of those weeks and is actually in second place based on points per week. So we're looking to see maybe some big shakeups by the time that playoffs come around.
So coming back to the main screen, with that in mind, we're going to have our commercial break. So Owl, I want to invite you to read us our commercial and tell us about Twitch Prime. What is that about?
Yo, 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 yo. Hey there, Twitch viewers. Have you subscribed to Team Hearth League yet? Then rake today the day to be a league yourself and subscribe to our channel. This subscription enables our team to help cover the costs of operating our website, as well as shrimprove the quality of our streams and content to our viewers. If you crave Amazon Prime/True Crime, you can subscribe to the channel for free. Subscribers will get a THL emoticon as well as the lovely THL chat badge. So multiverses that thumbs up button and keep the lights on to make sure you catch our train broadcasting live. We appreciate each and some of you. Special note to our viewers, check out THL's other social media points of interest. Website, teamhearthleague.com. Catch us on Twitter at THLHS. Join us on Discord, Team Hearth League. Or face us on Hearthstone, Nice Jewish Owl number 1993. The True Hearth Common, Rotten Apple Bomb, continues to post all of our daddy-os on our YouTube channel. Just search for Team Hearth League to see everything previously recorded. You are, of course, watching on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TurtleTheMissPlayer, or possibly on our YouTube channel in the future. And for all you THL fanatics out there are THL shows every single most days of your week. You can't go wrong tuning in at any time for some Hearthstone belated content. Now, Saku the good part. Ka-chow.
Saku, the good part, indeed. That was a great read. Thank you so much, Howell. How did that feel?
I don't know if I got bits of it right, but I think I read the words that were on the screen.
You did great. So let's get moving to trios, shall we? Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Indeed. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look at trios. So we're going to move on to our first match where Chicken is going to tell us about a Sussy Union versus the Triple Bros Bash.
Yeah, the Sussy boys from the land of the Sun Devil continue their undefeated run in trios. One of two undefeated teams remaining. That being You Kit and Me, Skirt Reynolds, and Tab. And they faced off against Triple Bros Bash this week. So it was two 2-0 teams facing off. Yeah, and both of them brought fairly similar lineups, except the Pure Paladin on the side of Triple Bros Bash versus the Control Priest on the side of ASU. Yeah, both sides unsurprisingly banning Demon Hunter, and yeah, ASU not having Paladin seemed to give them a bit of an edge here, considering like they had 4 real decks. So yeah, I mean, Triple Bros Bash still in a pretty good spot. Yeah, starting off 2-0 never really hurts your chances, but yeah, with this win, ASU basically is almost guaranteed a spot in playoffs. And if they win one more match, they are guaranteed a spot.
Nice. That's quite the showing for ASU. Anyone wants to add anything else about this match? All right. So we're going to look at another match. We're going to look at the one Amalgam Band facing F3L. So Owl, tell me about this one.
Well, I suppose we see the trend holding true of the team that brings the 2 bad classes does not win. I mean, our team, we went for a slightly weird lineup. Goal was to sort of soft target spell DH because everyone is bringing spell DH. And then game 5 ended up being a spell DH mirror, and we drew worse. And that's how game 5 mirrors sometimes go.
Okay. It's simple. We will target the Spell Demon Hunter with a 50% matchup and a 51% matchup. And we will win the series. It's simple as.
Indeed, it's just that shrimple. Well, you see, the idea is you bring the spell DH because it beats all of the other decks that your opponent brings. Except it sometimes doesn't.
They always ban it, so then it doesn't matter.
They always ban it. So true. So true. We were expecting a DH ban, and then instead we lost with it.
Now show maybe the class isn't unbeatable. Oh, it is getting quite a bunch of nerfs, so we're going to see about that. But anything else anyone wants to say about this match or trios as a whole?
So I will say about trios is that there's only, I think, 6 weeks total, and only the top 8 teams are going to make it. So records wise, all of the undefeated teams will make it, all the 5-1 teams will make it, all the 4-2 teams will make it, and then it's 2 or 3 3-3 teams. So those best records, 3-3 teams, will make it. And unfortunately, if you are 0-3 right now, not naming names, there is about as much of a chance that you get that tiebreaker as the first digit in your win record. On the contrary, Sussy Union at 3-0, their chance of missing is about as much as their loss record. So we'll see how it develops, but that's the general playoff race.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I'm looking at Barrel of Monkeys, and their first tiebreaker is a 0, and like everyone else with a negative win-loss is like has a super negative tiebreaker. So there's like maybe some insane chance that they could make it. The other two 0-3 teams definitely have no chance. Like definitely no chance.
The problem is that every single week that they add on, they'll be adding on teams that they're facing that have a bunch of losses, and it's based on what the win-loss record is when they're not facing you. So
Yeah, don't think about it too much.
okay,
If you think about it a lot,
yeah.
then it starts to get bad again.
Yeah.
Just think about it a little bit.
Fair. So let's open up to Pro. If everyone is done talking about trios, we're not recommending anyone to drop though. We think there's still a chance. Don't give up ever. Plus, it's fun. We're here playing for fun always. But let's take a look at the Black Conference, where the Exploit Metalheads faced Swagoi, and Geranium is going to tell us about that match.
Of course. Axe playing Metalheads ended up taking their first win of the season over Swagoi. It was 15-10 with Cookie Monst taking the Game 4 win over Bone Masher in the 1. Corridon got a Game 5 win over Risen. Vino Spumoni, our player of the week, got the sweep over Edelweiss. Starlax got another sweep over Leo Daric, who got a player of the win earlier on in the season. And then Mini got Game 5 win over KSW. And yeah, we see a lot of these fake classes that people are talking about. Edelweiss, I think, brought the same Fatigue Imp Lock and Enrage Warrior as the previous week, but did not have the same luck.
So, Owl, anything you want to add here?
Yeah, I mean, Fatigue, Imp Warlock, and Enrage Warrior are certainly interesting. Also very interesting, Edelweiss opting to bring Big DH, which is a deck that has seen a lot of play on ladder, but I feel like hasn't showed up much in THL. And considering it's getting nerfed, probably won't show up much more in THL. Otherwise, it seems like fairly normal lineups from people with Priest, DH, Death Knight, and Miracle Rogue being very popular. A couple of Control Priests on the APM side, including Svalna Priest from Corden, which I assume is just one of the Control Priest versions. Control Priest, a pretty strong deck right now, especially if you're banning that DH and looking to get even stronger post nerf.
Fair. Now, with this match happening, what is the Black Conference standing looking like? who's doing well, who's not doing well, what's the race for first and the race for last going right now, and I want to ask that to Geranium.
Of course. I was just pulling up the standings. In Black Conference, the top team, as Lotus is very proud to see, is Brushy Tuna, but they've dropped some points now. They're only 63 points over 3 weeks. F2L is catching up. They're at 59 points. Rocket Propelled Glug Girl is falling a little bit behind at 37. Axe Playing Metalheads, team we just featured, is at 32. And Frog Champs Resurrection currently is winless at 30 points, which is half as much as they need to actually make playoffs. So they have as many weeks as they've gotten so far to still make it, but it's going to be hard. Pink Conference, on the other hand, has Cheesemongers United in the top spot at 56 points. F3L is at 47. Swagoi and Opportunistic Pro players are both tied at 37 points. And then Zymox and Chill is also at just about half what they need to get into playoffs at 25. So it's going to be tough, of course, for the bottom teams because only the top 2 teams make it in each conference. But it's still possible.
For sure. It's still far from over. We do have 2 teams quite ahead. But let's take a look at Pink Conference, where there's still a lot to go. And Chicken is going to tell us about CMU versus F3L. No, I don't think that correct. No, 1 second, I'm fixing it. I have the wrong graphic, but get it right. Well, Chicken will start talking while I get the right graphic, but go for it, Chicken.
Oh, excellent. Because I love talking. So, yeah. Wait, sorry. What CMU versus who?
Is a perfect 10 Murloc versus
Oh,
Big
okay.
W.
I see it in the
Esports.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we had a pretty low-scoring match overall. It was 14-9 in favor of AP10M, if you will. Yeah, because there were 3 sweeps. So we had Yo Daddy taking it 3-0 over Disagreement. We had
Is this match from the right?
Oh, is it?
I think this is for the wrong season.
Guys, it's
Okay,
how
I'll
can
fix
it be
it.
wrong? There's
I
no
copied
way.
the wrong
I
one.
saw Phylactery Warlock.
Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry, I am getting the right match. 1 second, everyone.
Okay, well, here's a funny side story. Justin on our pro team saw that we were in second place at the end of this week, and he said, "Oh, why am I still trying? We're easily in a playoff spot. Surely nothing could go wrong now." So Justin is going back into retirement mode starting this week. So if you're Justin's opponent, you should feel really good about your chances against him.
Well, it just so happens I happen to know Justin's opponent this week.
Oh yeah, who is he playing this week? I haven't taken a look.
He's
Is it you, Milo? Or no, we're playing in pro.
No, I am not the 5 seed pro right now.
Yeah, he's really a 5 seed this season.
He's playing against Hustle.
Oh, that'll be a good one. That'll be really test how retired he is, I suppose. Justin is more retired than he's ever been right now. I will say that. I think he still doesn't have a win in THL this season, aside from a DQ.
Hero. I think he got a legit win in Hero.
Real win! Augers.
I did get the right match. It is Opportunistic Pro players versus F2L.
Oh, it's up. Excellent. Oh, F2L, 20-point week. Excellent job. And they super subbed in Rami. OPP had no chance. But yeah, F2L continuing their strong season. And Yeah, this is almost this is another black conference match. Wait a second, the pink conference sucks. But yeah, why is there Mech Paladin and why is it here twice? I don't really. Why is there Face Hunter and Big Demon Hunter? Who knows really? F2L
People
seems
are
to.
playing the wrong paladin deck.
No. I assure you that Mech Paladin is the right Paladin deck. Honestly, Mech Paladin is probably more fun than pure Paladin because I mean by a slim margin, I suppose. Neither are like that interesting, but
It
yeah,
apparently
lots
has
of
better win rates into some Demon Hunter decks. So that's sort of like the edge to bring Mech Paladin over Pure, because you're not going to see bad classes from your opponent, right?
very true, very true.
What if there was a third paladin option?
No shot.
Yeah, who could figure this out?
Well, with this match, anyone has any further comments on this match before we look at the pink standings? So
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at the. Oh, it was actually just regular Enraged Warrior from World 8. I was trying to figure out if it was Menagerie Warrior or like normal Enraged, and it was just Enraged Warrior. But yeah, I'm curious to see how Warrior shakes up after the changes, because like there had been that Menagerie Warrior popping up a little bit on this patch, and I think it might be a pretty decent deck going forward with a bit of the nerfs. It does like it's actually a pretty good tempo deck at like generating multiple boards and like kind of having a lot of gas throughout the game. So it might be able to hold up against decks like Control Priest and Blood Death Knight, but we'll have to see.
for sure, sure. I'm curious to see if Warriors finally coming back. Um, Probably not. Warlock is definitely not coming back. That's my bet. But if we take a look at the pink conference, what are the standings looking like at the end of this chicken?
Yeah. So in Pink Conference, the Cheesemongers United have taken a pretty commanding lead in Pink Conference at 56 points. Then below them at 47, we have F3L. At 37 points in third place, we have Swagoy. Tied with Swagoy at 37 points, we have the Opportunistic Pro Players. And then in fifth place, we have Zymox and Chill at 29 points.
All right. Any further thoughts anyone wants to share about Pro before we move to our checkout question? Okay. So our checkout question of the night, as we close our show, is we know there are nerfs and buffs happening. There are 8 nerfs and 6 buffs, all happening on Thursday, arguably. We'll see exactly if it's Thursday or not. But my question to my hosts here is quite simple. If there are nerfs happening, what do you think one of the nerfs and one of the buffs is going to be? And I'll challenge you to choose a card that is actually hard to predict what the nerf or buff is going to be. So I'll start with Geranium Battle. What is one of the nerfs and one of the buffs?
Awesome. So I think maybe the hardest nerf to predict is Symphony of Sins, because I think there's actually some interesting stuff that can be done with it.
You
It
mean
does have a
buff?
lot of theming around.
You mean buff, right?
Did I say nerf? I meant buff.
They need to nerf that card.
So a lot of the numbers on it are 6s. So if they are bringing it down to 5, are they going to change all the numbers to 5s? Are they going to change it so that, it still stays at 6, but maybe it has some sort of tutor or something? I'm not sure, but anyways, I think that the change that they're going to go with is they're going to change the UI for it so that you can actually see all 7 options and not do a 3 modal, but a full 7 options. You can do this by doing 3 and then an arrow as the last option to the 4. And then that way you will always get the thing that you desire when you play it. I think that would be a large buff, and it would still keep it, at turn 6 where it's a little bit slow in the meta. But that would definitely improve it versus other controlling decks. For nerfs, I think the most interesting nerf to predict is probably a Nubricon. They could nerf the armor. I was thinking maybe they just nerf the armor down to like you gain 5 or 6. That would make it so it would be harder to pull off the full combo unless you're already very ahead. You could also change the Nubricon to be more mana cost initially so that you just can't play it as early. But knowing Blizzard, I think they're going to change it from a 7/7 to a 6/6.
That would be funny.
That would be great. And Owl, what are your 2 calls?
I mean, yeah, some of the nerfs are pretty easy because it's cards that have been buffed, so the assumption is just that the nerf is reverting the buff. I'm interested to see what happens with Sinful Brand because they've already adjusted the mana on it, and I don't think it's super elegant to just adjust the mana again. I think they're gonna put it back to 1 mana but change it to only 1 damage. And that definitely kills the card. And then Demolition Renovator is definitely getting tradable.
Nice. That would be a fun change. Again, what are your 2 changes?
Okay, agree with Milo on the Sinful Brand change. That's kind of what I had in my mind. Battlefield Necromancer, yeah, it's going back to summon a 1/2. Blightfang, I have no idea. Yeah, Blightfang's a weird one. I didn't think Blightfang was particularly broken, like in that deck specifically. Like, felt like there were other cards that were even crazier.
I want to say Blightfang was a card that had a really, really high draw in certain matchups.
Yeah, like against in the mirror, that card just like ends the game a lot of the time, unless your opponent also has it in the early game. So it's pretty nasty against other like board-based aggressive decks. Other than that, it like was a 3/4 a lot of the time. So it's a bit of a weird one. But like it kind of just ended up dominating other aggressive decks because of that card and a couple other cards. But maybe 4 mana, maybe lower the stats of Blightfang. Both probably do similar things of just reducing the board swing or delaying it. Basilisk, probably just 5 mana. What else? They love their mana changes. Stenographer's going to 7 mana. Predation, I think, will probably be 1 mana. I think they really hate 0 mana cards and want to reduce that as much as possible. So just like removing reducing the Sitheno synergy, and then I don't even know what this card is named. I see it played against me every so often, and it summons a demon, but I do not know what this card is called. This is probably the card I am most surprised to see nerfed in a very long time. I'm sure maybe the devs are looking at bronze through gold stats by accident, and that's why they're nerfing it. Other than that, sorry, what'd you say, Max?
I was going to ask if it was Wrathscale Naga. I think it's Wrathscale Naga.
I thought Wrathscale Naga was the 3/1 that does 3 damage when a friendly.
It's the Evoker.
Okay. But yeah, this card is weird. I mean, it's like definitely, obviously, like the clear best card in the deck. But the rest of the deck feels a little like it feels very underwhelming actually. But it like beats the slow control like removal piles, which I don't know. I guess the casual player base really enjoys playing. For some reason, the devs really don't want to nerf Blood Death Knight. Even though it kind of, I mean, that and Control Priest tend to push out the other removal pile decks, which is interesting why they're not nerfing either of those decks. But we'll have to see how the meta settles.
I would like to disagree, by the way, with the Battlefield Necromancer nerf, because in the graphic that they posted, they did not post the same way that they posted when they buffed those cards. When they buffed those cards, they I believe were more in reference to that 1/2 taunt. So I think this is going to affect Battlefield Necromancer itself. And
Oh, okay.
it'll probably nerf it to 1 mana. And then and then Blight Fang, or maybe it spends 2 corpses when it summons. I don't know. Blight Fang, I think could be a change to the taunts. Maybe removing taunt from them, or maybe making them 1/1 taunts would be pretty impactful.
Now, the question everyone's asking, how do they change Rotten Apple Bomb?
It's a Yeti.
Make
It's
it
a Yeti.
4 mana. Yeah, just make it 4 mana. Call it a day. That's probably it, right?
No. Heal 1 more. Heals 1 more. This will end it.
This is like the funniest buff. This is so funny. Like, what's going on? Is there like a Taunt Warrior is coming back in full force? They will make it happen eventually. They brought all the taunt cards back to core. They're buffing Rotten Apple Bomb. It has to happen eventually. I don't really know why they want this taunt thing to happen so badly, but maybe they just like hand buff.
Okay, here's what I think Applebomb's gonna do. It's gonna get lifesteal, and the death rattle's gonna change from heal 4 to deal 4 to the enemy hero. Because it's a rotten Applebomb. Why does it heal you? Shouldn't it hurt your opponent?
Would I rather play would I rather play the 6 mana 4/6 that deals damage to my opponent, or the Rotten Apple Bomb that now deals damage to my opponent? Big questions for big gamers.
Indeed. And that's about it for our show tonight. I want to give a very special thank you to Super Chicken, Geranium Battle, and Nice Jewish Owl, our special guest for this show. I had a lot of fun. I hope you three had a lot of fun as well. And I hope all our viewers had fun. Special thank you to Anful for their 47-month subscription. Thank you for your very continued support. It's almost as long as I've been in THL. But with that, unfortunately, we do have to close the show for the night. I want to take this opportunity to remind you all we are always looking for stream matches. You do have an extra week to play, so make sure you schedule, make sure you play your match. Don't get DQ'd. We don't like DQ'd players, or in general, DQs are not fun. But play your matches, do your best, play on stream if you'd like, and we will see you back here soon. Reminder that Bone Masher does have sidebar, and I believe they are coming back next Wednesday. So keep an eye, or next Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that. And with that said, I want to wish you all a good night, and we'll see you later.